Am I live now? I don't even know. I don't have no idea what the fuck's going on between Zoom and YouTube the last 3 days. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my channel. I'm just going to wait for the live chat to say something. All right. I'm live now. Jesus Christ. All right. Let's, that was interesting 30 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. But hey, we're live, so it works. All right, let's, yeah, it's a struggle. Getting live streams out the way I used to the week before the election versus the week after the election is a serious problem. Anyway, audio is good, video is good. Perfect. All right, let's go to the charts. We're going to cover the election at the end, so those that don't want to stick around for the politics of it can get going after we talk charts. All right, let's talk Bitcoin. Here's the weekly chart. I have not logged into my trading account. I exited more than 50% of my GBTC position, and I have not yet figured out how to purchase Bitcoin on PayPal, but I'm not looking to purchase Bitcoin on PayPal right now anyway, so I'm not really in a rush to do that. We'll talk about that later. Here's the weekly chart. Today is Friday. As you guys know, Bitcoin tends to rise a little bit on the weekend and tends to pull back a little bit at the end of the weekend. But here is the weekly chart. And the weekly chart looks very, very bullish. It looks bullish. Someone's saying, did you end up selling yesterday at 14.5? No, I sold higher than that. 14.5, it flew over 14.5 by the time the stock market was open. So I'll show you where I sold. I talked about it yesterday as well. I think you need the PayPal app. I have the PayPal app. When I figure out how to buy on PayPal, I'll let you guys know. But I'm going to be buying on PayPal off the pullback. Mostly because I have money sitting on PayPal that is just sitting there. So might as well increase the fiat value of that money by having it in Bitcoin. So right now, we still have some room on the weekly chart. I think this is a great bullish candle. As long as this candle closes above, say, 15,000, as long as this candle closes above 15,000 on the weekly, that's a very bullish candle. And it's very possible we can hit 17,000 over the next 3 weeks. It could be tomorrow, of course, but over the next 3 weeks, between tomorrow and 3 weeks from now, it's very possible we're going to hit 17,000 or even higher if this week's candle closes above 15,000. Closing below 15,000 this week makes me a little extra short-term bearish on the pullback, and we'll talk about where I see that pullback going to. But 15,000 for the end of week is my middle ground on whether I'm bullish into next week or whether I believe the pullback has begun. Daily chart. Daily chart was relentless yesterday, and we closed at the top of the candle. That is a very bullish candle, which means I would have been bullish going into the evening yesterday in the US. Based on US time zones, everyone's different, or during the day in Asia, I was bullish going in. This is a bearish reversal candle. Notice the MRI indicator. Notice all of these red arrows. We have the double consecutive MRI top. You have extension A ending, extension C ending, another extension C ending, and an extension B ending today. I'm actually curious how many more extensions we are dealing with at the moment. So in order to see that, we have to turn on the details of the extensions. I'm going to turn on all of the details of the extensions, and we can take a look and see where we are. So we do have another extension A that is in the process right now. Extension A still has about 4 days to go. We have another extension B. I don't know how many days it has left. The next time, because it's just telling me there is another extension B in the background. And right here, I can see there was one more extension C in the background. So as of this candle, there are actually still 3 more extensions, extension A, B, and C, and they're all coming from this MRI top. Now, because the current candle has gone above the prior candle and the prior candle was above an MRI candle, this means that according to the MRI indicator, which stands for the momentum reversal indicator, and in light of all of these arrows, the fact that we still have 3 extensions and we just made a new swing high on the current candle, I can't wait to start saying we just made a new all-time high, which is coming sooner than later, by the way. It tells me that there is still some bullish momentum coming from this MRI top that continued higher, creating these 3 additional extensions that have not yet been completed. All of these extensions that have been completed are coming from this MRI top, and the final, this first C that happens, these 2 C's in a row, one of these C's is actually coming all the way from back here. And the second C is coming from this one. So those 2 have completed. And but this particular MRI top has created 3 additional extensions, which is bullish. But we are getting so far ahead of the moving averages that a pullback is badly, badly needed, or things could get ugly in the future. So right now, I'm happy with the exit of my trade. Here is the 4-hour chart, but I'm going to talk about where I exited on the 1-hour chart. Here's the 4-hour chart. It's interesting that the 4-hour chart, had I been a little more patient, I probably should have taken the exit at the 4-hour MRI top. But here's the problem. I'm trading GBTC, and GBTC was already closed. So I could not have exited on this candle because of where I trade. I'm only limited to 7 hours of trading opportunities per day. So I could not have exited here. But it looks like the 4-hour has perfectly timed a top for a potential pullback. This is not a very good looking shape. Let's go to the hourly chart. Maybe this triangle will be a little more clearer on the 1-hour chart. This is a very slowly moving descending triangle from the top. Remember the tone Vays rules. You can cross as many shadows as you like, but don't cross any of the bodies. And if I draw this properly, you can see how interesting this triangle is. It should be red. I'll change the color. I can lower this a little bit and I can move this out. So you can see how perfect this actually is. So I'm not crossing any of the bodies really. I mean, maybe that red one. So like that, and I can raise this a smidge, and I can raise that here. And now this looks like an amazing triangle where we have one touch here, another touch here, many touches here. That's a touch, that's a touch, this one, this one, this one. And if we get rejected later today at 15,600 area, this sets us up for that pullback. Now, I know all of the fundamental metrics known to man are bullish right now, and I understand that. But the weekly chart is bullish. One of my most important indicators, the funding rate, and I got to talk to David Poole about giving me the cross-exchange funding rate. The funding rate is favoring the bulls. This is unprecedented. This is probably my most important fundamental metric. And my most important fundamental metric is telling me that we are going higher, okay? But I'd rather be safe than sorry. The Arun is telling us to stay in a bullish trade, and it told us to jump in right here perfectly, and it never told us to get out on a daily scale. The RSI is telling us to stay with the bullish trade. The MACD is telling us to stay with the bullish trade. The right here, where you have, as of October 10th, The ADX is telling us to stay with the bullish trade. The CMF is telling us to stay with the bullish trade. Every metric that I know of, all of them are saying bullish, and I exited. There's just too much bullishness. It's a one-sided trade. The only metric that actually bothers me, like I don't care that all of these metrics are screaming bullish. This is the only one. And perhaps I'm using BitMax for this, for the funding rate analysis. I know a lot of trading has exited BitMax. So maybe this is no longer a good metric. I don't know others. Maybe I should use other exchanges. I'm going to message my friend David and see if he can get me access to the cumulative one. Maybe that one would show something different. I'll message him today. Maybe I'll get it over the weekend. And then we'll see. But like, I almost want to say this metric is wrong, because I just don't understand how it's possible that everyone is like, the money is actually betting that the market is going to go down. And that is strange to me. So I'm almost being my own contrarian here. I'm happy with my exit. But if you have a hodl position, oh boy, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But as a swing trader, considering I entered back here and I got out, I remember I got out at a $12.30. I think it must have been around here or something. I think I got out off of this MRI top, and then I got back in on the breakout. I wanted to buy the dip, but I never got a chance. I got back in on the breakout, and now I'm exiting. I'm just exiting. That's me. I haven't exited my GBTC in full, but I exited the majority of my GBTC position. I'm just not comfortable here with this giant run up, but I'm comfortable with the hodl position. Here's that triangle, and let's see how this triangle resolves itself. I'm going to get one of these arrows. I'm going to stick it here. That is 3.3% for 500 bucks. So let's drop this 500 and see where this takes us. So sometime at the end of the weekend, probably sometime Sunday, I believe we're going to take a little bit of a dive, and we're going to go down about 500 points, which would take us below 15,000. Now, that's not a lot, but as far as my exits are concerned, I exited at a slightly lower price than we are now. I exited, well, actually a little more than slightly. I exited back here. So I exit, let me just grab a circle here. So I exited in this area. No, it's going to be a bad circle. It's not even a circle. I exited in this area here. Not that low though. I didn't get the high. I exited inside that circle. So that's where I exited my GBTC position. That was my exit. You can also see that that's during market trading hours. So I believe I got my first exit on this red 2-hourly candle, and my second exit was on this red candle. So those were my two exits out of GBTC. I did not exit on this candle. It was the one before and the one after. GBTC premium. Premium is down to 16, so I actually got a decent exit. I know the price of GBTC is way higher than when I exited, but I did take the premium yesterday. The premium yesterday was around 20%. It was a little bit higher. And maybe it wasn't that much higher, 17. But this is also end of day. During the day, it was pumping, so it was actually higher. I remember getting like a 20 on GBTC at the premium when I exited. But right now, the price is higher, even though the premium is lower. let's see where Bitcoin dominance is by end of year. If we continue on this pace, then we can certainly break 75 maybe. It's possible. Gold's still rising. I am bullish gold. I am bullish gold the moment it broke and closed above 1920, the 2017, the 2011 high. Gold had a similar triangle to what Bitcoin is doing now on the hourly chart. And gold did not meet its target. The target was all the way down near this blue line. It didn't make it there, and we have now reversed. I am now officially bullish gold. And I am bullish the S&P 500. That is a very bullish chart. We are now approaching the double top the way we approached this double bottom. I am bullish, but I need the breakout. I'm not long the S&P 500, but I would be comfortable going long the S&P 500 at the break of the prior swing high, because then I think the ultimate swing, the ultimate all-time high will be broken to the upside as well. Weekly chart, look at that huge bullish candle. I just don't see how anyone could be bearish the S&P 500 right now. I was just having a chat with my neighbor, and my neighbor was saying, hey, everyone's going to go into lockdown for COVID part 2. And here's my thoughts on that. Brief thoughts. We have some questions. I'm going to cut the camera. We'll go back to the questions after. Here are my thoughts on what's going to happen. Well, you know what? Let me talk finance first, and then we'll go to politics and COVID and stuff. Isn't anyone worried at all about the media attention Bitcoin is getting at the moment? No, because it's not getting media attention at the moment. I'm not gonna. Let me do a quick Google search here. If you do Google Trends on buy Bitcoin, there is no media attention. So if you do a search for buy Bitcoin, so if you do a search for buy Bitcoin on Google Trends and you zoom out 5 years, as you can see, there is absolutely no media attention for Bitcoin. That was media attention, and this is media mania. So in my mind, there is absolutely no media attention when it comes to Bitcoin. There's one guy, Michael Saylor. That's it's the only media attention that there is in crypto space right now. Who I would think would be running his company, but it's great that he's providing media attention for Bitcoin. He'll probably make more money from Bitcoin than the company. Tone, how-to videos on Lightning Network you mentioned earlier this year. When I learn how to use the Lightning Network, I'm happy to share my knowledge. But I have done maybe 5 Lightning transactions in my life, and the last one was 6 months ago. So I have absolutely no clue how to use the Lightning Network yet, because I've just been too busy doing a lot of other shit. But at some point, when I need Lightning, and that point came and went about a month ago, when the mempool started to get unreasonable. So sometime very, very soon, I will be forced to start using the Lightning Network because I don't want to pay $10 fees. And once I know how to use the Lightning Network, I'm happy to provide some videos. I was hoping to learn at my own conference, Understanding Bitcoin. We're going to focus a lot about the Lightning Network. But unfortunately, because of COVID irrationality, we cannot hold that conference. Possibly ever, but I'm hoping we do it one day. I really don't want to look at stocks till next week, guys. But since it is a super chat, I'll look at it real quick. The mempool is actually not that bad right now. It's actually kind of reasonable. You can get you can get your 20 Satoshi per byte transactions in, which is great. I thought it was going to be insane like before. I don't think I looked at NIO yesterday. I don't ever remember looking at NIO. I'm not sure what NIO is. I mean, I might have looked at it. Well, it's topped. The NIO is on a daily MRI top. I don't know what NIO is. I don't know what they do, but I know that if I was holding the stock, I would be selling. And if I wasn't holding the stock, I would not be buying. This is, and would I short? No, we're in a bull market. I would not risk a short. I would only risk a short with a very small position on Monday if we start falling at least below the candle's body low, ideally below the swing low. If I was holding this stock, I would be exiting now and earnings is coming. So I don't really have much of an opinion. The weekly is bullish. See, the weekly is on a 6 and the monthly is on a 7. So according to the weekly chart, this can still go higher, but that is an unreasonably big week. And I would be exiting here based on the daily. I don't chase stocks. Showing me a stock that has gone up unreasonably high that you're not holding is honestly a waste of time. There will be the same answer each and every time. You missed it. I missed it. Everybody missed it. Your neighbor missed it. The shitcoiner missed it. So unless you are actually holding this asset when it reaches unreasonable bubble tops, there is honestly no reason to ask me about it because the answer will always be the same. What is the percent chance we go below 13,000 versus 17,000? I think there's a way greater chance of going above 17,000 than going below 13. Way greater. We're in a bullish market. We have momentum. I took my exit. I think we topped, but I'm not shorting here. So definitely, I think higher prices are more likely. Isn't anyone worried at all that? Oh yeah, the media attention. I already answered that. Isn't okay? I already answered that. Can you compare the charts of MSTR and GBTC to see if MSTR can be a proxy for the Bitcoin ETF? Probably. Probably. MSTR is now a Bitcoin holding company. If they invested any more money into it, if Bitcoin does well, they're going to do well because they're going to be a very rich company because they invested in Bitcoin. So yeah, they can be a proxy for it. I would rather trade I always rather trade the underlying than some weird derivative of the underlying. I'd rather always trade the futures of gold than the gold ETF. I'd rather trade the Bitcoin spot than Bitcoin futures. But I'd rather trade the asset that creates price discovery. Price discovery in gold and oil is created in the futures market. Price discovery in Bitcoin is created in the spot market. And on the stock market, price discovery is more closely related to GBTC than MSTR, even though MSTR will be correlated with Bitcoin as long as they're holding a significant amount of Bitcoin. Tone, can a smaller time frame, like a 4-hour, you can see a more updated funding rate? I think the daily chart is on a delay and showing you yesterday's. Perhaps can you take a look? That's interesting. We can explore that. But even if it's yesterday, it's still an unreasonably low funding rate. Even if this is yesterday, I mean, it can't be yesterday because it's showing me today. But even if it is delayed, it doesn't matter. They're the same. So either way, it looks weird. We can pull it up on a 4-hour chart. Here's the 4-hour chart. I'm sure I have it starred somewhere. I think it's this one. Yeah, so there you go. That's good to see. At least this is interesting. As you can see, the BitMEX funding rate on the 4-hour chart spike to its highest level it's been since when? Thank you for pointing that out, by the way. So here's the BitMEX funding rate, and it spiked to the highest level it's been since September 8th. Let's go and take a look what happened September 8th. Whoa. September 8th here. Well, that's interesting. It was the price of Bitcoin was dropping on September 8th. No, it's September 20. No, that is September 8th. Is that right? Wow, look at that. So the funding rate spiked, but the price went up. That's a little unexpected, just maybe a weird couple of candles. But here is an environment where, if you zoom out a little further, here is an environment where we were consistently high on the BitMEX funding rate. And you can see how Bitcoin was topping. And same thing here. We were very high, Bitcoin was topping, then it consolidated, never actually fell. So we probably need a few more days here, a few more days on a 4-hour chart. But I like the fact that the 4-hour is now spiking on the BitMEX funding rate, which means that my exit wasn't a bad exit. I did exit yesterday. Today is the 6th. I exited on the 5th during market trading hours, right before the spike. But I couldn't wait because GBTC wasn't going to be open overnight. I could have gotten out right now. If I didn't get out yesterday, I would be getting out now. I would have gotten out earlier today, actually. But yeah, thanks for the heads up on that. Maybe I'll keep an eye on the funding rate. Let me bring this up. I don't really care about the RSI on a 4-hour chart, nor do I really care about the MACD on a 4-hour chart. The CMF is good. I like the CMF. So there you are. Your BitMEX funding rate is spiking in favor of the bears right now, which is good. Well, I don't know. I think it's good. I would like to see a pullback at least down to 14, ideally 12. I don't think there is a big influence of the CME futures on Bitcoin. I could be wrong, but I don't think there is. Do I think it's a bad time to buy gold for a long-term portfolio? Don't have any exposure? No, I think this is a great time to buy gold for a long-term portfolio exposure. I think anytime a market breaks out to new all-time highs after a decade, it's usually a good sign. Not always, but usually. Look, the right time to buy gold is when Tyler Jenks and I were screaming that gold finally goes bullish when it broke the 38% Fibonacci line. And I believe that was around 1300. That was here. It's the daily chart. We can go to the weekly chart probably for a better look. So I was always the believer that gold would go sub 1000. I changed my view on gold going sub 1000 at the break of the 38% Fibonacci line. If you go to the Hyperwave YouTube channel or even my channel from the days of June of 2019, Tyler Jenks and I were both very bullish. This was a huge bullish breakout. So this was the time to buy gold. I mean, I got all my gold back there and I was holding it through a bear market like an idiot. But this was the real time to buy gold. And then at any other pullback, and I think this is fine. I think it's fine to hold gold in a portfolio. I just still think that the S&P 500 will probably outperform gold, especially with all the money printing. All the money printing will probably go into the stock market instead, unless Biden raises taxes on capital gains. And then I have no idea where the money's going to go. I think a lot of it's going to go into Bitcoin and offshore stuff. Can you take a look at Tilray? Yeah, we can look at Tilray. I made some money on Tilray. Sold some good covered calls on Tilray as well. Oh boy, what the hell? Holy shit. Should have held down to my Tilray. Oh, it was earnings. It was earnings. Or earnings is coming. No, I would not hold this to earnings. Earnings is Monday. I mean, I wouldn't fuck around. If I was holding Tilray, I'm taking this gift the day before earnings because that's me. I'm taking the gift because if it reports before market open, if it reports after market closes, you can, hang in there. But shit, if I was holding Tilray, I would be taking this gift. Well, would have hopefully taken it this morning. Let's see if there was a 10 a.m. reversal. Would have taken it at the 10 a.m. reversal. When did it reverse? 11, not 10. I probably would have taken my exit. See, here's your MRI, but that's not really a fair one because there was a gap, so it doesn't count. I would have gone out somewhere here, maybe on this red candle. I would have gone out, hopefully above 11, realistically 1075, 1080. I would have been out. Like, I'm not holding this thing through earnings. Yeah, if anyone is wondering what happened to the Lucid Investments YouTube channel, Tyler Jenks unfortunately passed away almost a year and a half ago now. You can still find the Lucid Investment Medium articles and the Hyperwave YouTube channel. I'm pulling it up now. Wait, am I even on screen share? I am. Okay. Making sure. Here's the Hyperwave YouTube channel. Strongly recommended. Start from video 1 and watch it. The amount of knowledge this man had about trading, I think it matches anyone like in the last 3 decades. It was absolutely incredible. One of my biggest disappointments is not spending enough time with him down in Tennessee. Only visited him once. I was planning to visit him for a month later in 2019. I even had it on my calendar, and he passed. He passed right before the launch of his hedge fund with Leah, and right before we announced the financial summit that he was going to be a huge part of. I almost didn't do the financial summit because without Tyler's support and connections and clients attending the financial summit, I didn't think it could be successful, but it actually was. It was a very successful event, and hopefully we'll do it again next year in Bali because this year we had to cancel it. We would have been there this week, actually. This week we would have been in Bali while everyone is going through the election nonsense. We would have been in Bali having a good time talking trading. So it was scheduled for the first week of November of this year, but now being moved to 2021. Okay, a few more questions, and whoa, holy shit, guys! You just gave me 25 messages in our Q&A group. What the? ACB is also out big. Well, a lot of states are legalizing marijuana. So yeah, so these marijuana companies will do well. Why is Grayscale Litecoin 25 times more expensive as actual Litecoin? Because people are stupid. The answer to there's two answers. On any given question, there are two answers. One, the answer to your question is probably money. And if the answer to your question isn't money, the second best answer to your question, the average person is a goddamn idiot. And that's why Litecoin is trading at 25 times more expensive than actual Litecoin. All right, questions. Am I bullish the S&P if the economy goes into another lockdown? Yes, very much. And I will explain why in a minute. The crypto fear and greed index is screaming greed, which is one of the metrics. I don't know how they measure this. Look, like I said, I am happy to exit my swing long trade now, and I am happy to go back in at a future point in time. Tone, what price would you try to get into Bitcoin with your PayPal funds? It's not about the price. It's never about the price. It's about how it goes. Let's go back to gold, for example. Let's say I was a gold trader, okay? When gold started to pull back, here's the weekly chart of gold. I wanted to buy, let's say, because I'm not a gold trader right now, but let's say I was. Let's imagine this is Bitcoin. Let's imagine this is the price of Bitcoin. And I sold my Bitcoin over here near the top, which I'm assuming I did right now with Bitcoin. Let me take a sip of tea. Let's say I sold near the top. Let's say I'm not a good trader and I sold right around here. I sold at $1,985. I was too impatient. I didn't wait for the MRI top and I sold it here. And maybe the second half I sold back here at a slightly lower price. Where would I have gone back in? I would have gone back in if I saw the price rebound off the 1750 area. But as you can see, we never got to the 750 area. Not only would we needed to get to the 750 area, we would have needed to reverse in price from the 750 area. And in a perfect world, I buy it in the 750 area, but that didn't happen. So if I was a gold trader and I did sell my gold over here, I am buying my gold back over here, and I'm buying it back just below where I sold because we never made it to my target. So when you ask your question, where would you, at what price would you buy Bitcoin on PayPal? I don't know what price I would buy. I would look at the chart and I would let the chart guide me. So if we look at the daily chart of Bitcoin, that's the weekly, I would love to buy my Bitcoin from PayPal in the $12,000 vicinity on a pullback to 12,000. Whether that pullback takes 3 days or 3 months is irrelevant. I'm looking to buy at 12,000, but if it never makes it to 12,000, I'm going to have to buy at some point. So when is that point going to be? Well, if we keep going up from here and never actually pull back, I will always wait for a pullback. But if that pullback only takes us down to 13,500 and then starts to reverse, I will be buying around 14,000. So it's not about the price. It's about how the price is behaving. It is never about the price. For someone who wants to begin learning how to trade, what videos of yours would you suggest watching? Well, there are no specific list of free videos to learn how to trade from me. I've done over 1,000 videos, and each one has some educational component. Now, obviously, watching the entire history of my videos is not humanly possible at this point. So the best advice I can give you is if you want to learn how to trade, then go to Learn Trading. Okay? If you want to learn how to trade, go to Learn Trading right here, and this is free. Now, there are no videos here. This is more of a written thing. You click on all the links, click on the first link first. So right here, if you're an oscillators, you want to click on the first link. It'll take you to a page that will educate you about that particular indicator. Took me a while to put this together. It still needs to be updated a little bit. This is a free section, but it's not in video form. If this is all free, and if you want to take your education further than this free section, then I have these on-demand videos. There's really just 2 of them. And if you buy them together, you get a discount. I redenominated into USD to make it cheaper. Had this still been denominated in Bitcoin, these would be a lot more, double, triple the price than they were earlier in the year. So I've redenominated to USD to keep them cheaper. And here they are. This is intro to trading, and this is risk management, which is probably more important. Buy them together, you get a 25% discount, but that's only if you're ready to take your free education further. And options trading is very advanced. And then if you're also interested in the MRI indicator, which is one of my top 3 tools for trading, that all the information you need is here. I should denominate this in USD as well, because the price of Bitcoin is rising very, very quickly. And this is becoming very expensive. All right, shilling done. Let's move on. Tone, you were asking for an alternative for BitMEX funding premium. Try Max Perps Premium. And what are your thoughts about it? Well, I don't know what it is. I can throw it on a chart and then maybe find out what it is later. Let me see. Well, I'm already struggling finding this. Oh, Max, sorry. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's from Phil. Great. I know Phil. So I don't know what it is. I would need to talk to Phil. And we'll see. I think he told me about it once, but it was a long time ago. And since I haven't used it, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've talked to Phil. All right. Okay, now we can talk a little bit of politics and COVID and what's going on with the economy. Those that aren't interested in my political views are, of course, welcome to do something more productive with the rest of your day. So for those who don't want to stick around, thank you so much for watching. How do I end screen share? Okay. So here's what I think is going to happen. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'll go back to screen share. I want to show you guys the latest in on the polls. So the prediction markets have now officially given Biden the election. He has a 94% probability of winning, which is, look, it is what it is. Georgia is now Biden's. Pennsylvania is now Biden's. Arizona, Nevada stay Biden's. Now, if we go to the New York, another prediction market, same thing. The cumulative prediction market, Biden, 95.5% chance of winning. Trump is pretty much toast. If we go to the New York Times, they haven't officially called it yet. We have Pennsylvania, Joe Biden takes the lead. Of course, I believe there was massive election fraud, but my opinion on this matter is generally irrelevant. North Carolina, Biden still has the lead. He should take it. Georgia, Biden again takes the lead by 2,000 votes. And I believe there's massive election fraud in all these states. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, probably Georgia. I just can't see Georgia going Democrat. Arizona and Nevada is probably legit. I don't think there would be much voter fraud in Nevada. It's just the California influence. Arizona is probably a little more legit because of the California influence as well. The Socialist Republic of California has already taken over Colorado, which is why that's now a blue state. I'm not sure why New Mexico is so blue, but oh well. I guess random shit happens. I'm surprised Minnesota is blue as well. The rest makes sense to me. Everything else makes sense. Oregon has been completely taken over by the Socialist Republic of California. So again, not surprising at this point. But Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia are very questionable to me. Non-professional opinion. So let's go through the rest of the charts. I'm very confused about the Senate because clearly there are 4 more senators to be elected, but only 3 states have a senator that's up for grabs. So where is the missing senator? Can someone please explain this to me? What am I missing? Where? And I've looked at multiple websites, and I mean, they're not showing you what races are still available. They're showing you the ones that won, and I don't really care the ones that won. Like, can someone explain to me where the hell is the missing senator? Like, what state is missing a senator? I'll wait for someone to explain this to me. So there's 2 in Georgia. What does that mean? What does it mean in a runoff? Two senators for Georgia. Okay, so but when I hover over Georgia, it's only showing me 1. Purdue versus Ossoff. So who are the other 2? And where would I see this? Like same thing. If I go to New York Times and I click on Senate, I guess that's Georgia. But like I don't know what the hell this means. So who won? So the Democrat won over the Republican, and I guess there were 2 Republicans running against the Democrat. I that's kind of weird because the Republicans split the vote. If you have 2 Republicans running, they will split the vote against each other, and the Democrat just walks right in. So we have 1 Republican in Georgia, I guess a second Republican in Georgia, a Democrat in Georgia, because the Republican Party is being an idiot, and they decided to let the Republican Party split the votes. And North Carolina and Alaska will end Republican, I hope, and then we'll see what happens. Both Republicans. Oh, so there will be another election, and I guess there will be 1 Republican running against 1 Democrat. Okay. Oh, advances to the runoff. Okay, that makes sense. Got it. I understand now. So then these 2 guys that are in gray are gonna run off against each other, and one of them will win. But that means people will have to go back to the election polls, and if Georgia does mail-in voting, all of a sudden that Democrat's going to win. But see, here's the thing. It seems crazy to me that you have 2 Republican senators in your state and grossly Republican. Like, it's not, well, I guess this one was close. And meanwhile, somehow they're voting for a Democratic president. Colorado flipped. Well, again, Colorado is now right or left, depends on which side. It's now the right arm of the Socialist Republic of California, and Arizona is heading that way as well, because Arizona also flipped. So that's, I guess, the right leg of the Socialist Republic of California. Yeah, because everyone is fleeing California. They're going to neighboring states that have freedom and voting Democrat to remove those freedoms. This is why, I'm a big fan of, look, I'm not against immigration. I'm not a close your border kind of guy, but I'm always concerned that when people are like, when the first generation of socialists flee your socialist republic, they vote socialist. I'm all about the next generation, like the ones that have actually lived under socialist rule for 20 years. They are the ones. This is why Florida went so Republican, because all those from Cuba, all those from other Latin American countries, the ones that have experienced socialists and communists for an unreasonably long period of time, those are the guys that will never vote Democrat. But when you have just voted in your socialist empire and now you're not happy, you're going to move to a neighboring freer state and you're going to vote for the same garbage that got you out of your state. And by state, I mean like a US state or your country. Like, if you just voted in a fucking nightmare of a world and now you want to run away, chances are you're voting for the same fucking nightmare you caused in your place. It's just statistics. Obviously, if the majority of the people in Venezuela voted for a socialist government, then that first wave of people that are leaving will probably do the same thing somewhere else. But the second wave is less likely to do that. Socialism brings on oppression. It's your first step into oppression. I mean, you're watching it happen. You're watching it in Nevada. You're watching it in Arizona. You've seen it in Colorado. There it is. Meanwhile, you have Hispanic people moving into Florida, and it's going in the opposite direction. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Okay, now let's talk what's going to happen. So as of right now, I believe Biden will be your next president. I don't think Trump is going to win the recount. I don't think it looks good. Like right now, the U.S. as a country around the world looks like a fucking joke. Okay, we look like a joke. It looks like the Democrats rigged the election after screaming that Trump rigged the last election, which clearly was false and proven to be false. So the U.S. looks like a joke. Now, if Trump pulls the dictatorial card and stays in office, now the U.S. looks like a bigger joke. So at this point, if I was Trump, which I'm not, I would not pull dictatorial powers. I would say the Democrats cheated. Clearly, this is what the country wants. And if that's the direction the country wants to go into, I have to step aside. I would not, I'd step aside. I mean, look, you cheated, you won. Now, if I was Trump, I would run again in 4 years. Trump can run in 4 years and he can be president again. It has happened before. There have been instances. I forgot. I think it was, what was it? Cleveland? President Cleveland? Something with a C. My American history isn't that great. History was my worst subject in school. It was actually it was one of 2 subjects I failed when I was in high school. So I failed a history class and I failed a music class, as crazy as that sounds. So those are the 2 classes that I failed in high school. I'm actually not sure why I failed that music class. I don't think I was going. So I'm not even sure why I had to take music in high school. It's insane, some of the shit they make you take. Yeah, Grover Cleveland. There you go. So it's happened before. I think Trump should run in 4 years. And I think it will be better if Trump runs in 4 years, because it's very likely that you'll have Kamala Harris for 10 years as a president. Because here's how that works, as I recently learned. See, I thought that, now I can stop the screen share. See, I had thought that Biden would not last 12 months. I thought that Biden would be out and handing it over to Kamala within 12 months. But then I learned that if Kamala Harris is president for less than 2 years, she can run twice. So if she takes over in 2023, she can run for re-election in 2020. Well, she takes over in going in the beginning of 2023. She can run in the 2024 election and then again in the 2028 election. So I think Trump is almost better off running again, though he'll be kind of old. Hopefully he stays in good shape, loses some weight. I would suggest a carnivore diet, but not a nutritionist. So Trump can run in 4 years. I know he'll be old, it'll be hard, but he can do it. So there you go. I don't think it looks good for Trump to stay in office, even if the Democrats cheated. I don't think it's a good look. So here's what I think is going to happen. The Democrats milked COVID to win the election. And now the Democrats need to do two things. One, they need to print a shit ton of money and give it to you. And two, they need to restart the economy. The only way to start the economy is to end the shutdowns. So here comes the wave 2 of shutdowns, but it's going to be incredibly small and coordinated. So the moment Joe Biden gets into office, there will probably be a massive shutdown in order to feed people money. And the moment people get their money, they're going to magically solve the COVID problem and open the economy up so that people with the gifted money can now run out and spend it, and the businesses will somehow return. So I believe that is the plan. I don't think this is a conspiracy theory. I do think that the COVID scare will still happen. I still think they're going to push for a COVID scare in order to print more money for the public, but then instantly reopen the economy, because the Democrats need the economy to come back. Otherwise, they're not going to get reelected either. Not to mention there would be riots all over the country if the economy is shut down again. So that's what I believe is going to happen over the next 6 months. So within the next 6 months, everything will be open and there will be no more COVID. But there will be a 3-month lockdown, shutdown, just to make sure they get Congress to pass the big stimulus checks before they open the economy up. All right. I think I've said everything I needed to say. I don't understand why people are saying I can't cope with Trump losing. I'm coping with Trump losing just fine. I'm making my own plans, and I'm thinking of what's best to do for myself. You guys, those that want to live in a country going into the wrong direction can make your own plans. Enjoy. But you're seeing what's happening when California starts to spread amongst neighboring states. I give it, by the end of the decade, Texas is going to go blue because too many Californians are going to move there. There's a ridiculous amount of voter fraud evidence all over Twitter with video. I mean, if you don't want to watch the evidence on video, then that's really your issue. Tone, it isn't gifted money. Really? What do you call stimulus checks if not gifted money? Do you find it interesting that Florida moved more red? I'm expecting it to be more red. Remember, most people that are moving to Florida aren't the young from New York and California. It's the retirees. And retirees vote more Republican. They've seen a lot. So, yeah, it's... Look, I was a big Democrat too when I was in college because I was learning from the same liberal professors that everyone else is. 90% of every single teacher, if not 95% of every single teacher, will convince you to be a Democrat. From high school through college, through graduate school, everything. High school teacher, college professor, they're all liberal Democrats. So therefore, at least 70-80% of young people under the age of 25 are big-time Democrats. When they have a job and they start earning money and they have a business, they see things very, very differently. I'm looking at the live chat, guys. Democrats are not going to win the Senate. No, I don't think the market will take a huge down spike. I think the market will define. Again, it's based on everything that I explained. In that the Democrats will end COVID immediately within 6 months. They can't flip on COVID immediately. That would make them look too hypocritical. And they got to get you more stimulus money out. But they will end COVID within 6 months. Not that they're going to end the medical version of COVID. They're going to end the fear-mongering of COVID within 6 months. And they will encourage businesses to open. They're going to hand out more money. And the economy will recover somewhat. So the market will rise. Ballots on the blockchain. I mean, we explained why that's stupid. When you hear ballots on the blockchain, they're not actually on the blockchain. They're in someone's server. Is it better? Depends on who's running the server. If I'm running the server, it's better because I wouldn't cheat for one party or another. Depends on who's running the server. There's no blockchain there. It's just a server. if you trust the people running the server to be honest about the election, then it's better. But if they're going to cheat, then it can be worse. I don't have thoughts on EOS or Ethereum 2.0. I try not to waste my brain cells. I mean, I'm waiting for the Bcash insanity in 10 days. I want to see that thing under 1% of the price of Bitcoin. So I'm not going to be talking about what my plans are as far as where I'll be living, where I'm going. I don't want to talk about that publicly at all. So we'll all be surprised. I talk too much as it is, tends to get me in a lot of trouble. So once we know who the president is, I will start considering what my future plans are. But I'm not going to talk about them publicly at any point. The longer you stay in a lockdown, the longer the virus will be with you. You're not going to stop a virus with a lockdown. They're actually meaningless. You want herd immunity, and you ain't getting that in a lockdown. Get ready for COVID passports and forced vaccinations. Well, that's the thing. That's one of my fears. If I'm never taking the vaccine for COVID, so if I'm going to get stuck in a country with never having the ability to travel again, I got to make sure it's the right country. Russia don't look that bad these days, relatively speaking. Snowden's still there. I'm very confused about the Fed story. Okay, we're going to end on this. We haven't done a news show in a while. I am insanely confused about the story on the seizure of 69,000 Bitcoin. It makes absolutely no sense to me. If someone can explain it to me, that would be great. But here is the article. We're going to end with this. I am completely lost on it. Let me explain why I am completely lost. Here is Yahoo Finance. And this is the one that I read. It's the one that was sent to me. Maybe I should read it on CoinDesk, though I don't know if they're any smarter than to explain it. Here's what I read. The US is suing for the forfeiture of thousands of Bitcoins, totaling more than $1 billion that it recently seized. So if it seized it, why are they suing for its forfeiture? So right off the bat, this is a full-blown contradiction. What the hell does that mean? How do you sue for something you have seized? Like, can somebody explain that to me? The seizure on Tuesday tied to early darknet market Silk Road is the largest U.S. has ever counted. Okay, that's just a factual statement. Court documents revealed the seized funds included 69,000 Bitcoins, and the rest of the scam coins are irrelevant. Prosecutors say an unnamed hacker stole the trove from Silk Road and moved them to a wallet where they sat from April 2013 until Tuesday's seizure. Okay, so a hacker stole it and the government seized it. The individual consented to government seizure on Tuesday, so they know who the hacker was. The hacker consented to the seizure. So does that mean the government got the money? Anyway, we'll keep reading. The news comes days after blockchain, after Elliptic, after Elliptic firm reported that a wallet possibly belonging to the Silk Road marketplace moved almost $1 billion. So we know that 69,000 Bitcoin moved. And according to this, we know the hacker agreed to let the government seize the funds. So again, the US is suing for the forfeiture of funds. Like what the hell does that mean? This was the first transaction from the address. Okay, earlier this week, Elliptic co-founder speculated that. So basically, the government is saying we know who the hacker is. This article is like the dumbest thing ever. So at least that's how it reads to me. It's so frustrating. Like they can't explain anything. So the government knows who the hacker is. The hacker agreed to let the government seize the funds. I don't know in what world. I don't know what drugs he was doing from Silk Road. That unless he was like sitting in prison, and they said unless you hand these over, you're staying in prison. But after he hands them over, I'm not sure they're going to let him out of prison anyway. But in any case, and now the one company that's supposed to know who the coins belong to have no fucking idea what's going on. The news comes days after the blockchain intelligence firm Elliptic reported that a wallet possibly belonging to the Silk Road marketplace moved almost $1 billion worth of Bitcoin earlier this week. So your biggest company that's supposed to know whose money it is and where it is and where it's going has no clue what the hell is going on when the Yahoo Finance story breaks. Excellent. So much for Elliptic knowing what the hell they're doing. This was the first transaction in the address and so. Okay, right. Earlier this week, the co-founder speculated that the coins may have been moved by imprisoned Silk Road operator Ross Ulbricht or Silk Road vendor. So they have absolutely no clue what's going on. Totally clueless. Ulbricht, who operated. Okay, so that's just the story on Ulbricht. Okay, so what the hell is actually going on? All right, Winston Smith has a comment. I'm in law enforcement. They have seized it as evidence. Asset forfeiture laws allow the government to take the asset and hold it as escrow. They need a judge to authorize ownership. But who has the keys? Who has the private keys? The hacker or the government, the US government? Who's got the keys? Because we've talked about this in the law show. David Silver is the proud owner of 10,000 Bitcoin from Cryptsy, but he doesn't have the keys. Big Vern does. I believe that the US government is suing to obtain the coins legally again. But again, the question is who's got the keys? It's not a bank account. Who is holding the private key? Well, no. Who has the keys is not a tech question. How the keys are created is a tech question. Who's holding the keys is, possession is 9/10 of the law. Who is holding the keys is not a technical question. It is a legal question. Who is in possession of the private key is the only thing that is important in this story. How does the government auction off these Bitcoins? Very simply, Michael Saylor, or we'll just buy it from them. What do you call it? Jack Dorsey may just buy it from them, or Tim Draper again. There's plenty of big companies and funds that would love to just write an offer on a napkin to the government and say, we'll take them right now. The government selling those Bitcoins, well, they can do it in a week. Just as long as they don't get hacked again. Can someone explain to me what would Trump be jailed for? I mean, they would go to auction, but they would go to a silent auction, not a public auction. It would be like, hey guys, we're auctioning these Bitcoins. Write down how much you want to pay for them and email it to us if you're a credible institution with the funds. No, Grayscale is not going to buy those Bitcoins. That's not how Grayscale works. Small investors pay Grayscale to buy it in small batches. Grayscale is not a hedge fund. Grayscale is not going to be in the bidding here. It's hedge funds and companies with access cash, or OTC dealers like Kraken. Trump would be jailed for his debt to Russia through Deutsche Bank. I'm not sure if you know, Ken, but debtors' prisons have been done away with around the time when your grandparents were born. Grayscale can buy it and resell it at a premium. That's not how Grayscale works. Guys, come on. Can you just please stop making shit up? All right. On this note, we're going to call it a day. It's been long enough. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. It's Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Maybe we'll know by Monday who the president of the United States is. Thank you all for watching. Please support on tonevays.com, and I will see you all